Hello and assalamu alaikum dear viewers. If you have clicked on this video, that means this video is meant for you. So pay attention to every detail carefully and learn the steps of how to find the product of some expressions. So let me tell you about the video. This video is created on new secondary school's mathematics book, the scientific one for grade 7, and the exercise that I'm solving here is exercise 3.6, and the questions that I will be solving is question number 9 to question number 16. So let's start with the very first question, that is question number 9, where you have to find the product of these two expressions, right? So let's start how to do it. We will just learn the steps in this video. So firstly, let's write the solution, and then let's see there are three terms and there are two terms here. It's up to you if you want to rearrange it and take this term to the left and this one to the right and then solve it, and also it's up to you if you want to solve it directly. So let's do it directly maybe. So let's see, x squared, you will write at x squared. Now see, the first term will be multiplied by both of these two, then the second term will be multiplied by both of these two, and same will go for the third term, it will be multiplied by both of these two. So let's write it like x squared into, now this bracket shows multiplication, so you can use bracket instead of the multiply sign, or also it's up to you if you want to use x squared multiply by. If you want to use this sign, this is also okay, and if you want to use a bracket sign, it is also fine. Then you will write x plus 1, right? And then the next sign is between the terms is plus, so you will write it as it is, that is plus, and then you will write 2x, the second term, and you will multiply it with both of these terms, that is x plus 1. Then the third term is plus 1, and you will write a bracket and you will write both of the terms, that is x plus 1. Okay, so if the first step is done and if it is done correctly without making any mistakes in the sign, that means you are gonna reach the last step also. So let's solve the second step, where you have to multiply the term outside the bracket with the terms inside the bracket. X squared multiplied by x is x cubed, or simply when there are two same base, you add the powers, just as the case is here, like x squared, and then on the other side you have just one x, that means x2 plus 1, that is x cubed. So that means x squared multiplied by x is x cubed. Now multiply x squared with 1 and it will give you just x squared, because 1 multiplied by anything gives you the same number. Now in the second case here, look, 2x multiplied by x. Now there are 2x and there is only 1 2, that means with x there is just 1, so 2 multiplied by 1 is 2, and x multiplied by x, there are 2 x's, that means the bases are same and the powers are 1 and 1, they will add together and they will give you 2. That means here you will have 2x squared, and then plus plus is plus, and then 2x multiplied by 1 is anything multiplied by 1 is the number itself, like 2x. Now 1 multiplied by x is of course x, and 1 multiplied by 1 is of course 1. Now you are done with the second step also, and that is correct. Now you can move to the second and the last step, there where you have to look at the like terms. Is there anything there and that resembles x cubed? No, you have to look at the variables plus the powers, both should be same. In this case you have x and cube, that means you should look for something that has an x, also a power cube with it, but there is no such number or there is no such term, you will write it as it is. Right now look at x squared, can you see a similar or a like term with x squared that resembles x squared? And now you will see that yes, there are some, that is, I will use this pen, you have x squared and you have 2x squared, these two are same. And then let's look at the next one where we have just x, that means just x resembles the other x, and then you have one that has no other like term with it, so you need to solve these together. Now the variables of course along with the power will remain the same, and you will add the coefficients. Here you have 2 and here you have 1, that means it will give you 3, right? So that means you will write 3 here, you will write plus 3 and the variable along with the power is x squared. And in the next case you have plus 2x plus x, which will give you plus 3x. Why 3x? Because with the other x you have 1, and when you added the coefficient, 2 plus 1 is 3 and x will remain the same, plus 1. That's it, and that is your final answer. This is how you solve for the cases of multiplication. Coming to the next question, we have m squared plus mn plus n squared m plus n. So we have just positive signs with each of the terms. So it's quite easy because we know that till the end we will get only positive signs and they will only be added together. So let's do again the same process we did for question 9. We will write it like, we can write it as m square into is used for bracket, or into is called bracket and is used for multiplication, m plus n, right? And then we will write mn, the next term. This was the first term. I've written the first term plus multiplied it with the second expression, and then I have written mn, and then I will again multiply it with m plus n, and then I will write the last term n squared, and again I will multiply it with m plus n, right? Now you have to simply multiply the terms outside the bracket with the terms inside the bracket. M squared, don't miss any of these because you have to multiply m squared with m and then m squared with n. We will write both of these, and in this case mn with m, mn with n, and in this case n squared with m, n squared with n. So we will do each of these. Let's solve the first one, m squared and m. There are 3 m's, so that will be m cubed, right? M squared and n all are different, so it will be m squared, and we will write all of them, right? And in the next case, look, m n and m, we have 2 m's, that means m squared, and we have just 1 n, so just n. And then we have m n and n, we have just 1 m and 2 n's, means n squared. And then for this we have n square m, all are different, and for the last one we have n squared with n, that is we have 3 n's and it will be n cube, right? Now let's look for the like terms. With m cube we have no like terms, so we will write m cube as it is. And now let's look for the other like terms, where m square, we have m square n, and do we have another m square n? Yes, we have the same m square n here, and then the other one is different, m n square. Here n has the power 2, that's the reason it is different, so we can highlight it with blue, and we have n square m. Look at these two, they are the same, only the rearrangement is different. It is just like 1 multiplied by 2 squared or 2 squared multiplied by 1, both are going to give you the same answer, and these two are the same. See, you can write m n squared as n squared m, and n squared m, both are the same. And then we have n cube, which is quite different, so we'll write it as it is. M squared and m squared n will give us, we have 1 with it and 1 with this one, so it will give us 2 m squared n. Again we have 1 as coefficient with this and 1 as coefficient with this. If we have no any number mentioned with the coefficient, it's of course 1, right? So that's the reason I've written 1 here. No need to write it, just for your clarification I'm writing 1 here. And then we have 2mn squared then n cube, and this will be your answer, right? Coming to the question 11, we again have the same kind of question, but we have different signs. See, we have minus, we have plus, we have minus, so we don't have to be confused by the signs. Let's see how we solve it. Let's begin. Again we will be using the same steps, the same process. We have a squared and we have to multiply a squared. This is the first term, this is the second term, this is the third term. We have to multiply the first term with a minus b, and then we have a minus sign in between, so we will use minus here. And then we have to multiply 2ab, the second term, with a minus b, and then we have a plus sign, and we have to multiply the third term b square with a minus b. Now that's it. Now let's move to the second step, where we have to look at the signs very carefully. With a square and a, we have positive signs, so we will use a cube and a positive sign with it. A squared, a, there are three a's, so that's the reason we have written a cube, because it has a 1. You have to keep in mind, if there is just a, that means it has power 1. Now in the second case, we have a plus sign with a square and we have a minus with b. So plus minus will give you a minus, and we have a square b, right? And then let's move to the next one. We have minus, and we have a minus sign with 2ab and a plus sign with a, so it will give us minus 2a squared b. Why a squared? Because we have one a here and one a inside it, that makes two a's, right? And 2 and b are just once, so we have written it just once. And then we have a minus sign here and a minus sign inside, and we are multiplying the signs because see here it is a bracket and that shows multiplication, of course, and we are doing product here. Product means multiplication. Minus minus will give you plus, so you will write a plus here, and 2a b multiplied by b is 2ab squared in this case, because in this case we have b repeated twice and 2a is alone, right? So we will write it as 2ab squared, and then we have b squared a plus, because with b squared we have plus and with a we have plus, so b squared a and plus minus. Look at the last one, plus minus is minus, we need to write minus here because we are multiplying the signs. So we have b squared multiplied by b is b cubed. So here you are done with the second step. Now let's move to the third step, where you have to look at the like terms and solve them together. In this case we have a square b, this is our like term, and the other like term is this one, a square b. Other than this we have ab square. Remember, we have to look at the variables, that is ab squared and the powers. And then this one is also similar. I told you, just the rearrangement is different. Otherwise ab squared and b squared a means the same thing. And this one is just a single one, so we will write it as it is. So let's solve it. We have a cube, and then we have a minus sign here and a minus sign here, and they both are like terms, right? And now remember, we don't have multiplication here, but we have addition here. Why? Because both are having signs together, there is no any bracket, so that shows they are adding together, because they both have same signs, right? Minus and minus, minus and minus gives you plus, but the sign will remain minus, because in this case when you are adding, you look at the sign with the greater number. With the greater number you have a minus sign, so you will write minus, but they are adding together, so you will add them as 3a squared b, because 2 and 1 gives you 3. And then in the next case we have plus plus with both, of course it will be just plus, and when you add them together it will give you 3ab squared, right? And then we have minus b cubed. So this will be your final answer. Coming to question 12, which is a similar question. Again we have to solve it in the same way. We will write x squared and we will multiply it with x minus y. Then we will write plus xy. Remember, the signs we are using are the same that we have in the question. And then we have x minus y, and then we have plus y squared, and we have again x minus y. Now let's multiply them together. X squared multiplied by x is x cubed, because the bases are same and the powers are 1 and 2. They will add together and give you 3. And then we have x squared y, all are different. First multiply the signs, plus and minus gives you minus, so x squared y. And then in the next case we have x, y and x with plus sign, so plus, and x is 2 times, so x squared and then y, right? And now x squared with xy with y gives you xy squared, and look at the sign, plus minus is minus, so we will use minus here, and we have x y squared because we have two y's here, right? And then let's move to the next one where we have plus with y squared and plus with x, so it will give you plus, and then we have y squared x, and then we have plus y squared and minus with y, so it will give you plus minus is minus and y cube because we have three y's. Remember, in the second step you are always multiplying. That means you are multiplying the signs as well as the terms together, right? So in the last step you are adding together or subtracting together according to the signs. So look at the like terms first. We have x squared y here, and we have x squared y here, and then we have xy squared here and xy squared or y squared x here. Both are the same thing, remember, and this one is a very different one, so it will remain the same. So now look carefully, we have minus x squared y and plus x squared y. Both are same, but they have different signs, so that means they are cancelling each other, or with cancellation you mean they are subtracting from each other, right? Plus minus is minus, and of course this is 1, this is 1, so 1 minus 1 of course will give you 0. So again you will get x cube, and this will be cancelled by this will give you 0. In the same way, minus xy squared plus xy squared, they will cancel each other, and this will give you minus y cube. No need to write like 0 x squared y. You don't need to write like this. It's okay if you directly write x cube minus y cube. Whatever answer you get at the end, it's okay to write just those. You don't need to write the zeros to mention that you are getting a 0 as answer. It's obvious when you write it as x squared x cube minus y cube. So that's it. So coming to question number 13, again we have the same kind of question. We will do the same steps. So we will write 2a squared and we will multiply it with 2a squared minus 3b squared. Then we will write plus 3b squared and we will multiply it with 2a squared minus 3b squared. Then we will write minus c squared and we will multiply it with 2a squared minus 3b squared, right? Now let's multiply these. Remember, you always have to multiply the coefficients first, like 2 multiplied by 2 is 4. First write it as 4 and then multiply the variables. That is a squared and a squared, and two 2's gives you 4, right? Adding these two 2's will give you 4. 2 plus 2 is 4. And now multiplying plus with minus, it gives you minus. And 2 multiplied by 3 is 6. A squared, b squared, they both have different variables, so we will write it as a squared, b squared. Coming to the next one, we have plus 3b squared and plus 2a squared, plus will give you plus, and multiplying 3 with 2 gives you 6. And b squared and a squared, they both are different variable, you will write it as b squared, a squared. And then multiplying plus with minus gives you minus. See, plus with minus gives you minus. 3 is 9, and b squared, b squared. So b squared will give you b4 because you're adding the powers when the bases are the same, right? So here you have 9b4, and then in the last one you have minus with c squared and plus with 2a squared, and minus plus will give you minus, and then you have 2 here and 1 here, that means 2, and both the variables are different, so a squared c squared will remain the same. You will write both of the variables here, and then you have minus with c squared, minus with 3b squared, minus will give you plus, and you have just 3, that means 3 multiplied by 1 is 3, and c squared, b squared. Okay, now let's look at the like terms if we have any. So in this case we have a squared b squared, 6a squared b squared, and here again we have b squared a squared, which is the similar thing, right? And here we have, and other than that we don't have any like terms. See, we have a squared c squared here, but here we have b squared c squared, so they can't be like terms. These two are the only like terms here. So let's write the final step where we need to add only these two, and we have 4a4, and see we have two same terms but different signs, so they will cancel each other. The answer will be 0, of course, so don't need to write 0 again. And then we have minus 9b4 plus 2a, sorry, it's minus 2a squared c squared. We have minus 2a squared c squared, and then we have plus 3c squared b squared, and this will be your final answer. Coming to question number 14, again doing the same steps. We have 2a and we have to multiply it with 2a minus 3b. Then we have minus 3b and we have to multiply it with 2a minus 3b. And then we have minus 4c and we have to multiply it with 2a minus 3b. Now let's do the multiplication where we have to multiply 2 with 2, that will give you 4, and a with a gives you a square, right? And then you have plus minus is minus, 2 3 is 6, and then you have ab, and minus plus is minus, 3 2 is 6, and then you have ba, minus minus is plus, you have 3b and 3b, so that will give you 3 3 is 9, and then b square. And then you have minus and plus here, so minus plus is minus, 4 2 is 8 ca, and then you have a minus here and a minus inside. Minus minus will give you plus, and 4c multiplied by 3b will give you 4 3 is 12 and cb, right? Now let's look for the like terms here if we have any. So in this case we have 6ab and here we have 6ba, and other than this we don't have any like terms. So let's solve these together. We have 4a squared, with 6ab we have a minus sign, and with 6ba we have a minus sign. They are adding together, the sign will remain the same, and when these are added it will give you 6 plus 6 is 12, and ab will remain the same, plus 9b squared minus 8ca plus 12cb, which is your final answer. In a similar way, we will solve question 15, where we have to again multiply all the terms with x plus y on the right side. So let's do it. We have x cubed and we have to multiply it with x plus y. Then we have plus 3x squared y, which we have to multiply with x plus y. Then we have 3xy squared, again we have to multiply it with x plus y. And in the end we have y cube, which we have to multiply with x plus y again. So let's do it. X cube multiplied by x is x4, and we have plus with both of these, so we will use plus here. And the best thing about this question is we just have pluses, so we don't have to get confused. We don't have to multiply. We have to multiply the sign, but of course they will remain the same, plus in every case. So x cube y, and then we have 3x squared y, and here we also have an x, so it will be 3x cube y, right? And in the next one we have 2y's plus 3x squared y and this y inside, so it will be 3x squared y squared. And look at this one, we have 3xy squared and x inside. There are two x's, so you will write it as 3x squared y squared, and then you have 3x y squared and 1y is inside, so it will give you 3xy cube. It will give you 3xy cube, and then in the end you have y cube x, and y cube multiplied by y is y4. So this will give you, let's look at the like terms first. We have x cube y here, we have x cube y here, and then we have x squared y squared here, we have x squared y squared here, and then we have xy cube here, and we have xy cube here. So let's solve these together. We have the first term as x4, and then we are adding the second two terms, x cube y and 3x cube y, which will give you 4x cube y, and then we have 3x squared y squared 3xy squared, both are adding together, so it will give you 6x squared y squared. And then we have 3xy cube and y cube x, which will give you 4xy cube, and in the end we have y4, which is our final answer. So this is how you have to solve for these kind of questions. So coming to the last question, and we have to solve it in a similar way. So we have to multiply x4 with x minus 1. We have to multiply plus 2x cubed with x minus 1. We have to multiply minus x squared with x minus 1. Then we have to multiply plus 2x with x minus 1. And then we have to multiply minus 5 with x minus 1. Let's do the multiplication. X4 multiplied by x is x5, because we have 1 4 here and 1 1 inside, and plus minus is minus x4, and then we have plus is plus 2x4, and then we have plus minus is minus 2x cubed multiplied by 1 is 2x cubed, and then we have minus plus is minus x squared multiplied by x is x cubed, and then we have minus is plus x cubed multiply x squared multiplied by 1 is x squared. So we will write minus x squared here, then we have plus is plus 2x squared, and then plus minus is minus 2x multiplied by 1 is 2x, then we have minus 5 multiplied by x is minus 5x, minus is plus 5. And now let's do the last step, where we have to look for the like terms first, and the like terms here are x4 and 2x4, and then we have x cube and this x cube, then we have x squared and this x squared, and then we have 2x and this minus 5x. So let's solve these together and let's see what we get. We have x5 as the first term, x5, and then minus plus is, in this case see, minus plus is minus, but the sign will be of plus, and they are subtracting with it from each other. 2 minus 1 is 1, that means we are getting x4 here, but the sign will be plus because the sign with the greater number is a plus. So let's write plus here in x4. Then we have minus with 2x cubed and minus with x cubed, so we will get minus 3x cubed, and then we have minus with x squared and plus with 2x squared, we will get plus x squared because they are subtracting from each other, and then we have minus with 2x and minus with 5x, we will get 7x, and then we have plus 5, and this will be the final answer. So dear viewers, hope so you got the concept and how to multiply it, you understood the steps. Please practice carefully and practice so many questions so that you get the point of the questions and you get to know how to solve the signs and the terms together. Thank you for watching Yasmeenaholic. Take care for yourself. Allah Hafiz.